Welcome, Stephen Gallacher.
Very much. How are we
It's so
doing?
good to have you here. You are officially our first TweetFest interview for this year. Tweet Up is our other part of the of TweetFest. So delighted that you could come and spend some time chatting with us today. I'm very excited about your film. Now, I'm thinking, I'll say at the onset for anyone that's going to watch this, there's going to be some spoilers in this conversation that the two of us are going to have. So if you haven't seen Harold and Mary, which you must go and see at the TweetFest Gala coming up on this Tuesday at the Picture House, woo! If you aren't going to see it there, and you aren't going to see it in one of the many other film festivals that Stephen's going to tell us he's been in, because it's doing really well, then if you watch any further, you might hear some secrets about this film. So just a little warning there for the audience. So I'm quite excited, Stephen, about having you here because this is your second year to TweetFest, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is lovely. We had This Is Zoe in last year, which won the Audience Award. And
Yes.
Haley was nominated for Best Actress. So, I'm just very happy and excited to be coming back because
Yeah.
I really love this festival and we had a lot of fun last year. So it just seemed like a no-brainer to submit, and very grateful that we got in a second time.
Well, it's all up to the judges with our film festival. It's always every film is watched by multiple judges. So even if I personally love a film or it's a mate that submitted it, if it's not loved by multiple judges, it doesn't get through. So pretty fair, right? But luckily, we all unanimously agreed this was amazing, which is why it's now in competition. So let's get in let's get dirty. Let's go into the dirty details. Why this story? Because it's pretty intense.
Yeah. So way back before the pandemic, roughly in about 2018, I got a text message off my dad, just basically saying, "Are you at work? I've got some bad news." And I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Your auntie has died." And we were all pretty heartbroken. I was texting him. I was like, "Well, how's Nan?" Because it's her sister. And he was like, "Well, she's devastated, but it happened 2 years before that." So this is all the way back, I think 2016. I feel that it had actually happened. It might have been 2018, but timescale's a bit off. But we didn't know about it because it happened actually over in Australia. And I was kind of just, it just hit me quite hard. Obviously, I hadn't seen my auntie and uncle for a long time, and family politics and things like that. It kind of, and you've got two aging families, my grandparents and my nan's sister and her husband, and neither of them, none of them are on Facebook or anything like that. So, or mobile phones. So kind of like, it was really like, watching two people who completely just ended up drifting apart, and then not having an instant way to communicate.
It's sad in itself, isn't it? That's
Yeah. So trying to, so we didn't find out. And then I was on BAFTA crew, and we had been lucky enough to go to the BAFTAs one night. And then the next day I got back. I got back the night before, but the next day I kind of got up and I was like, I just really fancied doing some writing, and this is what came out. And it was just kind of a cathartic, I wrote the first draft in just a couple of hours, just ashed it out. And I gave it to my mum and my nan and just said, "Look, give it a read. Let me know if you're happy for me to tell this story."
yeah.
And the feedback I got was very kind, and they said, "We're happy for you to tell the story, but we're really grateful of the way that you portrayed your uncle, because we wanted to show him as this loving character, despite what happens. He was a very nice man, and it was the disease that did everything that happened in the film, not the person." And that's what we wanted to show with the film as well.
And is he still alive? Is he still with us?
We don't know. We've tried everything to get in contact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um,
There's
he
so much behind this story, isn't there? Especially because obviously you mention in the film that it's based on a true story, which I find every time I watch any TV series or any movie or any short where it says that, you're immediately thinking, what is this going to be about? And this one is just so hard hitting. Yeah, and so there's already that, and then you've got this extra layer that nobody that's watching the short film knows about. There's all this other stuff that's going on with the family behind the scenes as well, even now.
I wanted to try and write that as a story,
Yeah,
and and how my nan felt about it and everything, but it was just so hard to try and do that. And I just wanted to make this very personal film about this disease where it's almost from the perspective of those around them, not necessarily the person with the disease. We've all seen The Father and Still Alice and all those other films where, everybody tries to get into the psyche and the mentality of a person with dementia, but actually it's impossible to do that.
yeah.
All we go is, oh, they forget stuff and things seem to warp and they might have and we were going to try and do that with this, and it just, the emotional weight was how did two people interact when things start falling apart.
Yeah.
And that, there's a scene with Phyllis Logan that just blows me away every time, and we were in tears on set watching her performance do it.
That's a really good segue into those two actors are amazing. Okay, so you've got Dermot Crowley's how you pronounce his name, and Phyllis Logan. Yeah. How did you get them for this film? It's amazing, incredible.
I've got an incredible, well, I worked with an incredible casting director, Emily Jacobs, who I'd work with on everything in a heartbeat. She cast Unexpected Item for me, and she cast Harold and Mary for me. And I sent out the script to Dermot. I think it was on a Thursday evening. We sent it to him with a letter, just saying how much I think he'd be perfect for the role. And 9 o'clock the next morning, he wrote back and was like, "I'm in." Loved it. And we're currently writing a feature that I want him and Phyllis to do as well. So a feature version of the film. And Phyllis, we got again through Emily, but also my producer Jake worked with Phyllis on Downton Abbey years ago. So we had that kind of relationship. It's sort of how I got Olivia on Unexpected Item. We went in with the casting director, but my previous producer and exec producer on this, Sashi, he then pincer moved and texted Olivia because they'd worked together and was like, "Come and do this film." And that's how we got them. And
had they worked together before? Did you do a screen test with them both, or did you just know they were going to be fine?
I mean,
working with that caliber.
It was one of those great things. We met up in Ealing to have just a chat about the script and stuff, because short film, especially when you're dealing with actors of that caliber, you kind of can't be like, let's do rehearsal days, because you don't have the money for it. I'd love to have done it, but we just didn't have it. And they've worked together before, so we turned up at Ealing, and they're friends from way back. So we sat down, and there's me and Phyllis and Dermot chatting the script and stuff. And then Phyllis's husband, Kevin McNally, who is, Pirates of the Caribbean and loads of other stuff, just turns up and he sits down and, chats with us. And I'm just sat here with three of, Britain's
absolute legends.
Like, I was just like, this is amazing. And this film was great in terms of, I know it's not overly fancy in shots or anything like that, but we never wanted it to be. It was put the camera in front of these two and just let them act, and they're so phenomenal that it's so easy to do that, and you get so much weight from it.
The beautiful dancing moment between them is so lovely. There's an intimacy there that you would imagine that's your grandparents well, you would imagine that's your grandparents.
Oh
Yeah. And yeah, that was just, there's some really lovely, I mean, so there's a lovely moment with the daughter as well when she arrives and she's giving that kind of longing look. And I've had family members who've gone through what your story is about and seen that firsthand. So it was really powerful for me to watch that as well. I guess and worry a little bit about my own brain later on, but
well,
now
I mean, that's, and it's been one of the biggest things is that everyone's kind of resonated who watched this film has really resonated with it.
Yeah.
Because I think almost everyone knows somebody who's gone through this or had personal experience with it. And although, thankfully, in touch wood, most people's doesn't get to the extreme that this film does. But what I wanted this film to do and what I always set out to do was like, I want people to leave the cinema and want to go and ring their parents or their grandparents and just be like, hey, I just wanted to check in.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
Because that, I think that's what people forget. We're so, and not that the characters in this film and not that my family were, but we neglect elderly people, and they have so much pride that they don't want to ask for help until it's too late. And I think that is what this film tries to show. It's not the neglect that people wanted to help, but it's the pride of going, we will be fine. Yeah. And when we did the cast and crew screening, even though everybody knew what happened, when the lights came up, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Like everybody was in tears, and so pulling that off, that ending is so hard because if you don't make it work throughout the film, people could end up laughing at something like that, and you have to make sure that you hit that emotional weight and you get that story. Otherwise, that ending doesn't. They go, oh, you didn't know how to end it, or and you've got to really make sure that you stick that landing. And obviously, with it being a true story.
I think you got the landing. So, all right. So two more questions before we let you go. But budget wise, do you want to share a little bit about? You obviously this wasn't a free film.
No.
You didn't get your actors for free. You said you were shooting at Ealing. How did that come about?
We actually ended up shooting in so we met up in Ealing and we were going to shoot there pre-pandemic, and we lost that location, which I think Phyllis and Dermot were a bit like, because it was just around the corner from both of them. They lived very close to Ealing, and I had to bring them all the way to Highgate. So we shot in North London actually. A friend of mine who's also an actress called Lizzie Roberts, her family were kind enough to give us their house for 4 days. It's a beautiful home with lots of breakable things, and credit to my whole crew, they were brilliant. Not even a mark on the wall. So we got very lucky with that. But yes, funding wise and making it wise, we had some great private investors who invested in the film. Some people who had already invested in Unexpected Item as well, who are just brilliant and huge champions of mine, which is lovely. And then I self-funded about half of it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, and we got really lucky. My composer Blair Moat, who is just a dream, did it as free gratis, which was really kind of him. We weren't expecting that, so we kind of budgeted for it, and he was like, "Look, I'll do it. I'll do it as a one for you," and that was really kind of him. And the same with the editor and stuff. So we got really lucky, and Jess Doxey, our Steadicam operator, came and did it for really cheap, which is great. So we everyone was really fantastic, and we had a great cast and crew, which was just lovely.
So lucky. You've got a great eye as a director, and a great eye for beautiful visual story, but also just a great way of telling a story. So, and I saw that now this is the second film of yours I've seen. I look forward to seeing the other ones as well that you've made, because I do see you're very busy making stuff. I guess my last question before we end is, what next?
What's next? So I've got another short that we're working on called Water Baby, another very personal, very heavy film again, which is kind of what I'm sticking to.
You love these heavy, heartfelt, angsty.
Yes. Well, it's who I am as a person. I want to make personal stories, so if whether they're personal to me or to somebody else, that's what I want to do. So we've got the Harold and Mary feature, which is being written at the minute. I've got another feature in the works that's based on a play that somebody brought to me, which is hilarious and dark and heavy, and it's just a brilliant dark comedy that I think hopefully again people will really relate to, and it's a very personal story. It's set in my hometown of Blackpool, which I adore, and it's just called Blackpool, What a Shit Place to Die, and it's brilliant, and I can't wait to get that off the ground. So that's where I'm at the minute. I'm just finished second unit directing on 15 Love for Wheel Productions and Amazon. And just a few things in the works, and gunning for my next job because I'm currently unemployed.
Yeah, so there we go. Everybody, hire Stephen. Hire Stephen. Look him up on IMDb. Check out all of his wins. I mean, I did say we we're going to talk about this, but this has already been in, isn't it 6 festivals?
6 festivals so far, and we play, which is great because I think we played 6 or 7, and we played 3 of them this month. So London Rocks, Northeast, and TweetFest all this month, which is lovely. So what a wonderful way to build up to Christmas, and hopefully a few more next year, fingers crossed.
Oh well, I hope we see more of your work at TweetFest, obviously.
Well, anything I make, I will be submitting. So,
but we will be following your journey anyway, because we love it. We love connecting with filmmakers, and we get pretty excited when we see them again. And that's what's happened over the years, because it's our 8th year now. So, I mean, 2 more years we'll be celebrating a decade of running this festival. Crazy. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to see you at the gala. I can't wait to see which film wins. I don't even know. That's the most exciting bit, that the VIP jury, they judge, but we don't get to see the results until...
Great people in your jury this year, with Trevo, who did Leave to Remain last year, which is great.
Yes. That's the second time we've actually brought back a reoccurring winner or nominee in the finals. And we had Tessa a couple of years back, and she's a very established director, but we had her short film, and then she came back and judged for us. And so it's really cool having Timo, and we've got Tabo, who's writing for Hollyoaks. We've got a showrunner, Roland, casting director Shakira. I mean,
Jesse Mang, a fellow Aussie.
Yes, love Jesse. I mean, half these people are now dear friends because I've met them over the years. I'm sure you find that with BAFTA Connect as well.
Well, yeah. Yes, I've got lots of good people that I've met throughout the year, so that's been really...
All right, well, I will see you at the gala. Thank you for just spending some time with us, telling us a little bit more about this amazing story, and best of luck with all the rest of the festivals as well.
Very much. Thank you for having me. Can't wait to see you on Tuesday.
All right, bye everybody, and that's it for now. Thanks, bye.